About Time with Rashawn's About Time Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. What's up to my About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang? Thank you to every single one of y'all who has been taking out the time to watch the videos, like the videos, share the videos, and leave the comments. If you have not already subscribed to the channel and you're watching this video or any of my videos for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Encourage others to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification button to stay up on the latest with Rashawn's About Time Boxing. Please, everybody that supports me, if you're watching the video up until this point, please pause the video or stop the video, and please go subscribe to the following channels: Rebel Life Boxing, Hustlers Home Boxing, Nate's Boxing Nation, YSM Boxing, Musically Zone Always Talk Boxing, E-Thriller, Mark Nash. I may have said that already, but if I didn't, Mark Nash. I feel like I'm leaving somebody out, but please subscribe to those channels, and it'll be a link at the bottom with all of the channels that I support too. So, you know, if I left anybody out, you can go back there and check it. And please go and subscribe to those channels. Of course, my audience, I gotta, you know what I mean, everybody that, you know, Marvelous Williams, Kofi's Universe, Fit Addiction 369, B Romero, Wentworth Richardson, Willie Bateman, High Consciousness, BJ Bobo, The Key, Tone Money, Fresh Prez, The Expert Genius, Chin Checkin, Ill Minds Revolver, Juice Lee, Jonathan McGovern, Isaiah Tilson, Reginald Oglesby, Real Deal, John Doughboy, Benjamin Bryant Jr., Raw Dog, my cousin Ish, my big brother Sharif, Tiandre Richardson, that's my uncle, Perry Robinson, Donna Robinson, Sub-Zero, Band Deal, Flame on 24, Jay Petty, Kev C, High Queen, Derek Wiltz, Rosiel Monroe, and forgive me if this video goes, you know, a little long, but there's a lot I gotta say, because I had the, you know, a crazy experience, and I mean, it was dope. But the other day, I'm leaving my store. So I closed my store at 8 o'clock. So I'm leaving my store. So I stopped at this gas station not far from where my store is at, like right before I get on the expressway. And it's a, you know, it's like, older guy that works in there. And, you know, every time sometimes when I stop in there, you know, he always give me the greetings. You know, we exchange the greetings. Muslim, I'm Muslim, we exchange greetings. But the other day, I go in my store and it's him, and it's like maybe maybe 3 or 4 other people that was with him, but he was in his phone. So I go to get gas. He turned his phone towards me and says, "That's you." He was on my channel watching my content. He said he's a boxing fan, and he said he watched a lot of stuff on YouTube. He came across my channel. He was like, "That's you." And so he subscribed to my channel. And then he told everybody that was there with him, you know, to subscribe to my channel. He showed them all. He's from India. And he said he has a lot of relatives in India and some here, you know, some in Philadelphia too. But he said he was going to reach out to all his people and he was going to have them subscribe to my channel. And they've been showing me so much love. So like I said, this is why I shout out my audience, but I want to get his shout to this brother. His name is Muhammad Miraj. So, you know what I mean? Thank you, man. You know what I mean? For the, you know, and thank all of y'all, you know, for the support and the love that I've been getting. So I appreciate that. So now with that, we about to jump into this topic. Devin Haney. Devin the Dream Haney. 28-0 with 15 knockouts, undefeated, and now the undisputed lightweight champion. Now, he's the undisputed champion. Now, you would think, you know, because see, what I'm asking is like, Can he write his own ticket? Is he in a position to call his own shots? After becoming an undisputed champion, which is a huge accomplishment for any fighter, being a unified champion is a huge accomplishment for any fighter. But to become undisputed, especially when the deck was stacked against him the way that it was. So you had Lomachenko, who, you know, when Devin was his mandatory, he avoided fighting Devin. And if I can find this link with Mauricio Suleiman talking about how Canelo and other fighters petitioned them to be the franchise champion, which will allow them to be able to avoid their mandatories but still have a belt. So Loma chose not to fight Devin. So he dropped the belt to Devin to fight Teofimo Lopez. Right? So now Devin Haney gets the belt and everybody's calling him an email champion. You know, they criticizing him, they dogging him out, trying to drag his name through the mud, all the while keeping Loma all the way up on the pedestal. Okay? Okay, so Loma fights Teofimo because he thought fighting Teo would be an easier fight. He can collect another belt. All would be good. He can move on being comfortable with people saying he's an undisputed champion. If he had beaten Teo, because Teo had the IBF lightweight title at the time. So now him and Teo fights. Teo beats him. So now Teo got the belts. And now Teo felt like, you know, but Teo was telling people he was undisputed. Max Kellerman was telling people he was undisputed. Told him he can write his own ticket. Devin Haney had the legitimate WBC lightweight title. Ryan Garcia fought Luke Campbell and won the WBC Intercontinental title or interim title. And they told him he could write his own ticket. He was the man in the division. He could do whatever he wanted. Everybody overlooking Devin Haney now. So now, Teofimo drags his feet for a few years, sitting on the belts, not even trying to make no money with the belts, not taking fights in between, a few gimmies where you can make some money, and he's not doing none of that. So now George Kambosos coming to the picture. Devin Haney is still there though. So now Teo got the franchise title. And now Teofimo Lopez says, hey, I'm going to do what Loma did. Loma avoided Devin Haney to fight me because he thought I would be easier. So I know Kambosos got to be an easier fight. So I'm going to avoid Devin to fight Kambosos. And then, you know, everything will be good. Because Teo, in his mind, where everybody already calling me undisputed, so I don't need to fight Devin Haney for his belt. And those of y'all who were saying that Teo, you know what I mean, and George Kambosos was undisputed, no, they were not. They were unified champions with a WBC franchise title, period. End of discussion with that one. And when people talk about Lomachenko, I know because I did a video before talking about Shakur Stevenson was a better boxer than Lomachenko. A lot of people hopped in my mouth. They was angry about it. But I'm not recanting. I'm standing on what I say. He is a better boxer. But I digress. Anyway, so now Loma chooses to do the same move that Loma did. Avoid Devin Haney to take what he thought was an easier fight. Then he dragged his feet with that fight. Then he was trying to get out of the fight. Then he was like, oh, he was threatening to drop the belt, you know, to get the IBF belt to Kambosos or something like that, and all that stuff just to try to get out of the fight now because he saw that Kambosos was a lot more difficult than he realized. Like, oh shoot, this dude ain't playing. It's not going to be a walk in the park like I thought. And Teo thought it was going to be a walk in the park. So did a lot of other people. So now Teo fights. Now the fight finally happens. He fights Kambosos. Kambosos beat him. Now Kambosos got the belts. And when Kambosos won the belts, one of the first things I said was they're going to try to swing those belts right in Loma's direction. They're going to try to ditch Devin Haney again. And what happened? They tried to ditch Devin Haney again, try to take him out of the equation, keep him out of the picture, to give Loma all of those belts. And they were trying to do it. But then the whole situation happened in the Ukraine. The war happened. And I said, I tipped my hat to Loma for that, because Loma chose to go over there and fight with his people. I respect that. So that's what he chose to do. So as of December, I think 11th, he's been inactive because his last fight was against Richard Comey. So now George Kambosos gets forced into the fight against Devin Haney, and then he tried to get out of that fight. He tried. And Devin made it as easy as possible for them. Devin said, look, whatever y'all gave Loma, because everybody was a lot of rumors and lies going around, talking about Devin pricing himself out. He asking for all this money. Let me explain something to y'all. As long as Devin Haney has been in this fight game, and especially since he's been promoting his own fights, has been his own promoter, co-promoting with DAZN and Eddie Hearn and them, you never heard him cry about no money. You never heard him cry about no money. He really trying to prove that he just want to fight the best fighters and prove that he the best. Win, lose, or draw. So Kambosos was forced into the fight. Yep. And he tried to get out of it. But Devin said, whatever it is y'all gave Loma, let's make it easy. Same deal y'all gave Loma, just give me the same thing. I'll take the same thing. And they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to do that. They didn't even want to give him the same deal that they gave Loma. They still wanted to try to take some things out and alter some things around. And look at how easy he tried to make the fight. Nonetheless, now it seemed like everybody who get their hands on those belts, I don't know if it's some type of curse surrounding those belts or, whoever get them, it just seemed like things just don't seem to go in their direction once they get those belts. So now Devin Haney fights Kambosos, beats Kambosos, pitches a shutout in the fight. No question about it. Put on a boxing clinic. Some people still criticized him. That's okay. But now he is the legitimate, undisputed lightweight champion. Undisputed. Got all the jewelry. Or all the drip, as they say. He got it all now. And now ESPN has a pound for pound list. And at first, he was on it, but he was ranked low. And then they took him off of it. But guess who's still on the pound for pound list? On ESPN's pound for pound list? Yep. Vasily Lomachenko, who is still 18-2 with 11 knockouts. And it's a shame that, look at how fast they rushed to put a belt back on Lomachenko, regardless of what it was. Now, his last fight was in December, I think, of 2021 against Richard Comey. And it was for the vacant WBO Intercontinental Lightweight title. Look at how fast they rushed to put a belt back on Lomachenko. But look at how they went out of their way to try to keep Devin Haney from getting the shot against any of the champions in that same division. Now, how bad is that? Oh, that's bad. I don't care what none of y'all say. That's bad. Devin Haney, 28-0, 15 knockouts. Loma, 18-2, 11 knockouts. What makes him so much more great? I hear Mark Kriegel and all these other guys, Joe Tessitore and Max Kellerman and all these people talking about, and even that sometimes sellout ass Tim Bradley talking about, oh, nobody's like Lomachenko. Oh, he got the best feet in the game. Ain't nobody like. Okay, we know, he was, the 08 and 2012, Olympics in Beijing and then London. 08 in Beijing and 2012 in London. Then he won other titles, you know what I mean? European championships and all that type of stuff. Yeah, we get all that. But it's funny how Lomachenko is on the pound for pound list and he's been inactive. Hasn't fought. Since December of 2021, he has not fought. He's been inactive. And yet and still, he's on the pound for pound list. And guess what? Loma can still write his own ticket with no straps. Devin Haney got all the gold, got all the jewelry, all the belts, whatever you want to word it. Devin Haney got it all, and they still saying it don't mean nothing. Why is it that? Because even when Devin Haney had the WBC title, when Loma dropped the belt to him, Max Kellerman and other people talking about, oh, the belts don't mean nothing. People calling him an email champion, all that. He ain't beat nobody, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. But then when Teofimo beat Lomachenko, and even when Loma had the belts, oh, Loma's the man. He can write his own ticket. He's the biggest in the division. He's the big fish. He could do whatever he want, blah, 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 blah. Same thing with Teofimo Lopez. And there's many videos with Max Kellerman talking about, Teo, you are the undisputed champion. You don't have to take this fight if you don't want. You can write your own ticket. You can do whatever you want. But then when it come to Devin Haney talking about, before he won all the belts, talking about the situation with the belts, and all of a sudden, after they do the interviews, it's like, oh, well, these sanctioning bodies and these belts and this, that, and the third, it don't mean nothing, this, that, and the third, and all that. But when Loma or anybody else got the belts, then all of a sudden, the belts has so much prestige to it. So are y'all trying to say that the black fighters devalue the belts when it comes to these sanctioning bodies? I mean, Devin Haney last 4 opponents was, and I don't know if it's in that particular order, but he fought Jojo Diaz, he fought Gamboa, he fought Jorge Linares, and he fought George Kambosos. Y'all can check it. And Lomachenko's last 4 opponents was, I believe it was what's that guy's name? It's Masayoshi Nakatani. He fought Luke Campbell. He lost to Teofimo Lopez, and his last fight with Richard Comey was the one where he won that vacant WBO Intercontinental title. Now look at the names on Haney's last 4 fights and look at Lomachenko's last 4 fights, and y'all telling me y'all see a big difference in the level of opposition that they both faced? So why does everybody think Lomachenko is so much more greater? And why is it that even without no belts, being inactive, he's still on a pound for pound list and can write his own ticket when he comes back? Of course, he's not going to talk about fighting Devin Haney. He actually, hope Devin will lose the belts to somebody, or actually just drop the belts and go up to 140 so he can just go in and get it. He's 34 years old. Clock is ticking for him. But I don't understand why Lomachenko is so great when he lost his second professional fight. And they say at least your first 5-6 fights of your pro career is supposed to be like your easiest, depending on your level of talent. So if everybody talking about how great he is, how you lose your second professional fight? And even when he lost that fight, people still talking about how great he is, how great he's going to be. But guarantee y'all, had Devin Haney lost his second professional fight, or any fight, oh man, what you talking about, man? When he lost his pro debut, or he lost his second professional fight, people would be saying all that stuff to try to discredit why he can't write or shouldn't be able to write his own ticket as the undisputed champion. And why is it that now that he's the undisputed champion, all of a sudden the belts have no prestige? None. But when everybody else had the belts, when Kambosos had them, when Loma had them, when Tio had them, the belts were so prestigious. They had so much value. Devin Haney is the man. And if he can fight at lightweight and defend those titles successfully and get the best fights, then that's what he should be able to do. Especially if he stayed in that division just to prove a point that he could get those belts. Then he should be able to fight all of the big names in that division. Doesn't matter. Tank, Shakur, Ryan, all of them. Loma, he should be able to fight all the big names in that division. And whoever's the last man standing out of all of those big names, then let them be the one to be able to write the ticket. But it just seemed like it was such a slap in the face to Devin Haney after he won. And I know his feelings gotta be hurt. I know they are. First he was an email champion. Now he's the undisputed champion, thinking that that was going to change the dynamic, you know what I mean, of his career when it comes to certain things. And I don't know. Maybe it's just those belts. Maybe that's why Terrence Crawford, you know what I mean, held them briefly. It just seemed like those belts is just a curse to anybody that get their hands on them. I don't know. What do y'all think? Am I tripping? Am I wrong? But do they seem to hold this golden light over Lomachenko and everybody else? But when it comes to Tank, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, for some reason, these guys just don't get a fair shake. You know, they had this award thing. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the ESPYs or whatever. I don't know, some award thing. And the guy, Bam Bam, who Shakur Stevenson said he liked, he won an award. Tyson Fury got an award. Shakur Stevenson, a unified champion, ain't getting none. And Devin Haney is the undisputed lightweight champion. But I guarantee you, if Lomachenko had all the belts right now, you know what they'd be telling him? Run. Stay away from Devin Haney. Because we still going to pay you the most money by fighting these C+, B- type fighters. Them Richard Comey type guys. We going to keep paying you to fight them kind of guys. We going to keep you away from, you know, like the Teofimo types, the Devin Haney types. They might even let him fight Kambosos. Kambosos was willing to give him a shot in order not to fight Devin Haney. And now they talking this whole rematch, you know, clause thing. But, you know, you got to figure that was going to happen because, you know, George Kambosos, once he got the belts, he definitely got beside himself, turned into a whole prima donna, prissy, sissy, acting all, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, but y'all let me know what y'all think, man. You know, does it seem like, you know what I mean, like Devin Haney has been slighted since he became the undisputed champion? Do it seem like, you know, Loma is still held in a higher regard even though he's inactive and doesn't have any belts? He has 2 losses in his professional career, but to a lot of it's funny how losses only matter when it come to certain fighters. But when it come to Lomachenko, the losses don't matter. He's still great. Jorge Linares dropped Lomachenko with a straight right hand. Boom, sat him down. Nobody criticized Lomachenko for that. Jorge Linares stunned Devin Haney, never dropped him, and Haney still was on his feet, still coming forward. And they talking about, oh man, he got cracked by Linares, man. Linares had him hurt. Linares can punch. He had Loma hurt. But nobody criticized Lomachenko when Linares cracked him though. I mean, the politics in boxing, man, is like a bunch of political like it's a bunch of biased bullshit. For real. Boxing, bias, and bullshit. That's a lot. It's a lot of that going on. But I don't know. Listen, y'all let me know what y'all think. Again, thanks everybody. You know, I thank everybody. Thank y'all for the love. Thank everybody who's been subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to like this video, share this video, and leave the comments in the comments section below. We're gonna be back with another one soon.